get started. I know last week we talked about how we're going to spend more time with our advanced six, and so we want to go ahead and get there. And, we've done our warm-ups enough to where let's do those without talking. And you know how right now we're just open and closing, walking and getting our bodies warmed up. But I like whenever we have learned our moves and we can start experiencing that mental quietness of Tai Chi. It's probably because how much I appreciate Tai Chi for the opportunity to slow down and be quiet. And so when we can do it without all the talking, without the explanation of the moves, I find it to be a whole different experience. And, we can't do that in the beginning when we're learning. So this is a good opportunity to just practice at least our warm-ups without talking. But if there's any questions that you have, just let me know. Get my camera adjusted good. All right, nice stable stance, good posture, feet about hip width apart. No tension in our shoulders or anywhere else for that matter. And we're making sure we're breathing, not holding our breath, starting with our neck. Well, there we go. How was that?
That was great.
It felt awkward to not talk.
Yeah.
I don't typically do it that way, but I did notice how much more aware of posture I was, how I had more opportunity to breathe, check on any kind of tension, really focus on the weight shift. I mean, my mind was able to focus on more because I wasn't talking. So from your perspective, you don't usually talk while we do that, but I'm usually jabbering my jaw. And so I hopefully that's just a different experience. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I just like to poke fun at myself. Of course, I have to talk as an instructor. But we go through the different stages so that we can experience the Tai Chi differently, but always going back to principle. And when we can quiet our mind, we can think about those other things. And that internal experience of Tai Chi is kind of something you can't explain the way you can explain upright posture or weight transfer or slow, smooth, continuous. Those are words that we're kind of accustomed to experiencing. Mental quietness, I think as Americans, we don't do that enough. We're just used to noise. We always have a TV on or music playing, or, there's so much noise in our life, and we don't take enough time to just be quiet. And it's so beneficial for us.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do our basic 6. And I know we're comfortable and feel good about it, but let's do it the same way without talking. We'll go all the way through, and then we'll go to our advanced 6. Here we go. And commence. Makes it seem short. I was thinking about that with the warm-up, stretches, and movements, and then just now with the basic 6. It's like, wait, it's over already? It's amazing how much time words take. But now that we know it, we can just really, just breathe into the movements, and just as we're moving, we can think about the smooth and slow nature of our movements, and that empty step, then the weight transfer. We know it. Now we're really thinking about all those special parts of the movements.
Yeah.
Let's go through our advanced 6. We'll do it again the same way. And then I know we'll want to come back and talk about these movements more. We're coming from open and close, so our hands are here. Weights on both legs. Single whip. No, it's not single whip. It's brush knee. We'll see if you're paying attention. What was that?
Yeah, that's good. That was good.
So, we're getting better and learning our advanced six, more and more each time we do it. Things that I really think about when I'm doing that, doing my advanced six is reminding myself of upright posture. Because when you step and you shift forward, there's that tendency to lean. And so I feel myself reminding, okay, we're going to stay upright even though we're shifting forward. I find myself reminding myself that. Also, pairing up movements, specifically a weight shift with a forward motion of the hands or a weight shift and a back motion of the hands. So the weight shift and a hand movement happening at the same time. And then once weight is shifted, there's that follow step. And that follow step says period. That says the end of that movement. And those are probably the three things that go through my head: paying attention to posture, weight shift with a hand movement, and then the period. And once you know the movements, you can focus on those things. And so pairing up the bottom part of our bodies and the top part of our bodies movements together can help make it more smooth and continuous with our movements. So we go this way first. Sorry, mirror image confusion. So we have the shift left, right toe in and reach. So that thing happens at the same time when you turn that toe in and you reach out. Now remember, the reach is part of that gentle resistance. And that's something that's fairly new for me to practice, thinking about gentle resistance, because used to I would refer to that movement as laying hands. So I thought of it more like dominoes. Although I don't think I think dominoes would fall more like this, but let's don't get technical. It's laying hands, this hand laid forward, this hand laid over top of the elbow. That's fine. That's right. That is correct. If you do it that way, you are doing the right thing. But if you add gentle resistance and use the word reach, then it adds a little more to that movement. Both are right. And so it took a while. I'm talking of years. It took years for me to start thinking reach to experience the gentle resistance. So I just throw out different modifications or variations of the movement. You go where you're most comfortable. So we have that right toe in and reach, or right toe in and lay hands. Shift, and then when I bring this hand down towards my hip, it's almost like I'm telling that leg, okay, come on, leg, let's go back. So I call that separate and prepare. And that's actually why the movement is called brush knee, because it's more evident in our advanced movements that this is a fight. So if we are, I'm going to come towards you. All right, so here they're coming at my knee and I'm swiping their foot away before they hit my knee. So that's where that movement is named after and where it comes from in terms of the fight. So again, I'm coming towards you, shift, right. All right, they're coming at my knee and I'm going to swat them away. So that's why it's called brush knee. I'm brushing them away from my knee. And now I'm mad because they came at me and I'm fixing to go after them by stepping, bringing this hand around and bam, attack, period. So when you think of this as a fight, the movements make a little more sense. So again, shift, right toe in, reach, shift, separate, prepare, step, shift and push, follow step. That's brush knee. Play the lute. When I step back, and see, it's very, very small, here to here. If I ever try to be dramatic and step back, then I get myself in a bind. Because whenever I go to shift the weight, then I kind of have to kick off and recover from it. So I know we're thinking we got to do more. And if we don't do more, then it's not enough. You know, I think our brains are trained that way. But in Tai Chi, everything is small. And so coming for play the lute, it's a small step back. Even picking it up and stepping your toe almost where your heel was. So it's not even a full foot step back. And whenever I step that foot back at the same time, my hands are going from here, turning in. So my hands are preparing to pass each other for play the lute. And when I get to that elbow, I'm protecting that elbow. So that's play the lute. And remember, once we do that play the lute, we're going to do this movement 2 more times just with our hands in different direction. So we're here this way vertically, then we're going to flip, do that same move horizontally, do that same move horizontally. So it's 1, 2, 3. The same move, our hands just change. So I know that peri peri punch throws off the rhythm because everything in our advanced move goes, or that's an overstatement, but it's step, shift, follow step, step, shift, follow step. And then peri punch comes at us with step, 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 shift, follow step. Then it's step, shift, follow step, step, shift, follow step. To the front, step, shift, follow step. So everything in advance has that rhythm of step, shift, follow step. And so that's why peri punch just messes us all up, because we lose that rhythm. So coming back to play the lute. Here we go. We step back, turn our hands, shift as we move our hands. So there's a weight shift with a hand movement. And when you can get comfortable pairing those up, then it does make the movement more smooth and continuous. Shift, and then when I get to my elbow, follow step. There's that period. Am I on the right foot? Let me make sure. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. I can't even remember if this is where I was a while ago when I had to figure out if I was on the right foot. But you see, my feet, if you were to watch Dr. Lamb's video, his feet are a little wider than mine. And we're taught in our class that, okay, this foot should be the distance behind this front foot, so that if I were to take this back foot, I'm going to hold on to the wall. Don't copy me, but just listen and watch. If I were to take this back foot and kick it behind the front foot, I would not touch it. And so that's what we're taught in class. And then whenever you're watch Dr. Lamb's video, his stance is really wide. What trumps that is your comfort level, where you feel most stable, where you feel most comfortable. And so from when I watch myself, I notice My stance is just a little bit closer than that. It's obviously one foot is further up than the other. They're definitely not side by side, and they're not the opposite. But find your place of comfort. That's that staggered stance that's so stable. You may widen up your feet a little bit, more like hip width apart. Play around with that. Just ask yourself, do I feel really stable here? Or do I feel like I'm holding on for dear life with all my weight on one leg, just hoping we can get to that weight shift and follow step? Because sometimes I find myself doing that. Specifically in our warm-ups, when we're warming up that hip and we're on that one leg for 3, I call them leg swings. Sometimes that leg, I'm like, ooh, it's holding on for dear life. It's like, are we done yet? Just pay attention what your body is saying to you. And those moments when you're going, I'm holding on for dear life, waiting for that next move, maybe that's a place where you need to make an adjustment. So stop. I love to be able to look at myself in a mirror or on the camera because I can see it better than if I were to look down. And looking down has a way of putting us towards falling, even though we may not fall. That puts us in that direction. So it's a good idea to keep that head up when possible. We don't necessarily want to watch our feet or look down, but sometimes we might want to take a pause, look down and go, oh, okay, well, that's a pretty good placement of the feet. So just check in with yourself. You know the moves. Now really start studying how you feel with each of those moves. Do you feel, really challenged? Do you feel a little bit of fear that you're going to fall? And it may just be an adjustment that you can make with your foot placement where you feel more stable. So these are just fine tuning of the movements as now you know them and you're practicing those moves. Okay, so we have play the loop here, parry punch, step and flip. So there's a paired up movement. Here's another one, shift as those hands pass. And when I get to that elbow, I step and flip. Shift as those hands pass. And when I get to that elbow, I step, put up that guard. And this hand just automatically reaches back to my back pocket to get my flowers out so I can deliver them as I shift and follow step. And so I just noticed that basically I picked up that foot and put it right back down to where it was. So sometimes your steps, you're not gaining a lot of distance. It has something to do with how small this space is. Of how small my steps are. And so you may experience that too. If you're able to be in a larger space, then you may feel comfortable to step a little bit wider. So take those things into consideration too. So we have brush knee, step back, play the loop, shift, follow step, parry punch, the one that throws the rhythm off, step, flip, shift, parry, step, flip, shift, parry, step, guard, grab the flowers, shift, deliver, follow step. All right, home free now. Block and close. Step, release hands, shift as they come down to my hips, and follow step. I noticed something that I do here, and I need to go back to Dr. Lamb's video because in the name of empty step, I find that I do this step, shift, and when I follow step, it's like I push the ground. My hands do that motion. Follow step. And it's that pause to appreciate the empty steps before I go on to push the tiger. What I found I was doing was step, shift, follow step. I wasn't pausing. I was just continually moving in the name of that movement principle of slow, smooth, continuous. And we do want to give respect to the empty step. So I find myself doing this, and I'm just curious if Dr. Lamb does it too. Push the tiger. So we're here, step, shift, push. That's when I really think about posture, because it would be easy to lean into that push. You know, if you were really pushing something, you probably would lean into it and just really give it your all. And in our class, we want to still maintain that upright posture. So push, shift, and then follow step. Now we're to the front, step, which is not a movement. I just say the words. Shift, bring this foot forward, turn hands, open and close. So that talks you through those movements that way. Now we do them to our left, no, our right. the faux left, the faux right. I don't know what we're doing. We're going that way. So in our advanced movements, we go to the left first, and in our and then we do them to the right. And so this is our second one, the one we do it to the right. Coming from open and close, we do everything opposite. Shift, shift right, left toe in and reach, shift, separate, prepare, step, bring this around, shift as I push, then follow step. Play the loop, step back, turn hands, shift as they pass, and when I get to this elbow, follow step. Parry punch, step and flip, shift and parry, step and flip, shift and parry, step and guard, shift, deliver, follow step. Block and close, step back, release hands, shift as they come down to my hips, follow step. Push the tiger. Step, shift as I push, keeping upright posture, follow step to the front, step, shift, step, turn hands, open and close. Any questions about any of those moves?
No.
Okay, so let's just go ahead.
The more I do, the more comfortable I get.
That's right. And the more you do it, the more you're going to feel like it's almost a dance. And
it's like when I concentrate too hard, I mess up. But when I let it flow and go with my mind, I'm on track.
You know more than what you give yourself credit for knowing. I'm starting to practice part 2, and I don't typically do part 2. And when I did exactly what you're saying, I was thinking about it like, oh gosh, what comes after this, brush knee? Oh, is there a open and close here, or is there a leisurely tie the coat? Don't I do a leisurely tie the coat twice on it? You know what? I'm sitting there thinking through all these things and messing it all up. And then I just said, forget it. Let's just to play the music and just move and not think about it and let my memory take over. I did it without any question, but I was thinking about it too much. So you know more, and the more you practice it, the better and better you get. All right, so let's do our advanced 6. Let's just do it several times. Do you want me to say the names of them, or do you want me to talk?
You can talk to it. You can talk to it, then do the name, and then nothing.
Okay.
Just do
all right. Here we go. So remember, we go to the left first and then to the right.
Mhm.
Coming from open and close. Single whip. Shift left, right toe in and reach. Shift right, separate, prepare. Step, bring this hand around. Shift as I push and follow step. Play the loop. Step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass, get to the elbow and follow step. Parry punch. Step and flip, shift and parry. Step and flip, shift and parry. Step and guard, shift, deliver, follow step. Block and close. Step back, release hands. Shift as they come to my hips, follow step. Push the tiger. Step, shift as I push, follow step. To the front. Step, shift, step, turn hands, open and close. Brush knee. Shift right, left toe in and reach. Shift left, separate, prepare. Step. Shift as I push and follow step. Play the loop. Step back, turn hands. Shift as they pass to the elbow and follow step. Parry punch. Step and flip, shift and parry. Step and flip, shift and parry. Step and guard, shift, deliver, follow step. Block and close. Step back, release hands. Shift as they come back to my hips, follow step. Push the tiger. Step, shift and push, follow step. To the front. Step, shift, step, hands face, open and close. Close it out. All right. This time just the name of the movement. Coming from open and close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Block and close. Push the tiger. To the front. Open, close. Brush knee. The loop. Parry punch. Block and close. Push the tiger. To the front. Open, close. Close it out. How was that?
Great.
All right, let's do it again. I'll talk the names of them and then we'll add it to our basic 6. All right, time check. 10:46. All right, advanced 6. To the left first, then to the right. Open, close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Lock and close. Push the tiger. Right. Open, close. Brush knee. Loop. Parry punch. Block and close. Push the tiger. Front. Open, close. Close it out. Are you noticing anything that you're doing that you need adjustments, that you need to make adjustments?
Hold on 1 second. There's someone at my door.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yes, I'm feeling comfortable with everything.
Okay. Well, I still find myself, bringing tension into my shoulders. I still find sometimes when I come to the front, that I bring my feet a little too close so that whenever it's time to do that brush knee again, when I shift and when I go to turn my toe, I'm way too close. And so, always just be conscious of those type of things. And you're going to make mistakes. It doesn't matter if you do it for 20 years, you're going to find places where you can go, oh, that was a little too close. Noticing it, that's big. Because in the beginning, you might not even realize. So I notice how now I push the tiger, follow step. When I come to the front, I try to be very conscious of, instead of bringing this foot here, I bring it a little wider than what feels most natural, because when it comes time to do that brush knee, that turn that toe in, that's going to feel a lot better than if my feet are too close to each other. And so that always just be thinking, like, how does that feel? Is that's too close? Oh, I'm relying a lot on my strength. If I were to widen my stance a little bit, then it might make it a little bit easier. Play around with that foot placement and see what feels more stable for you. All right, let's do it from the beginning, from basic 6 all the way through advanced 6. And commence. Open, close. Single whip.
You need a remote control? Yeah.
Waving hands and clouds. I've been counting to 6 here, and that's been more helpful for me than counting to 3. You wouldn't think 6 would be easier than 3, but it is. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands and clouds. Open, close. our advanced 6, brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Close. Push the tiger. Open, close. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Lock and close. Push the tiger. Open, close. And close it out. All right, let's do it again. Now, whenever I do this on screen, I start over here because I know I'm going that way first. And then once I get over here, then I'm going that way. So I land here, and in our advanced movements, we're going that way. So I have to move over here to be able to have the space. So if that was confusing, that's why, is because we're dealing with a small space here. So I have to move here to be able to go this way and then be able to go that way. Notice I didn't say right, left, because I don't know what in the heck I'm talking about a lot of times whenever we're talking right and left. You would think we had 6 different options of direction. You know, there's only right and left. But whenever the movement calls for right and we're really going left, I just get all kinds of confused. All right, here we go from the top all the way through, and then we'll cool down and commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. Open, close. And here's what I'm talking about, going over here. Start our advanced movements to the left. Brush knee. Play the loop. Parry punch. Lock and close. Push the tiger. Front. Open, close. Brush knee. Play the loop. And it may be helpful to call this parry, parry, and punch, And that may help with the rhythm to go Harry, Harry, and hunch. Block and close. Push the tiger. Hunt. Open, close. And close it out. And give our, my leg is sore. I didn't need that fist massage. Gracious. Sometimes our muscles get sore, and a good fist massage will help break up lactic acid. And man, I probably needed to do that 2 days ago. Really break that up. My leg is sore. I think I'm a muscle woman that lifts weights. So sometimes I do 5 sets of 5. And when I do that, and that's what I did on Sunday, when I do that, I bump up my weight to heavier than if I do 3 sets of 10. That's why I'm sore, is I went 5 sets of 5 with heavier weight. The things I do for health. Create tension. That's no way to live. We got to let that go. Feels so much better. Recognizing what tension feels like helps us know when to let it go. So sometimes we'll be walking around with tension, don't even realize it. Let it go. Big shoulder circle. Inhale up. Exhale as you push down. Good one to practice breath, even seated, to just sit and do the shoulder circle and breathe. We have our right fist that represents our strength, our left hand, fingers together representing our friendship, our thumb in representing humility. And we put those together in mutual respect. We say, Namaste. Well, there we go, Miss Gwen. We got us some good practice today of part 2, didn't we? I mean, not part 2, advanced 6. The second part of part 1. But we'll do it again next week, and next week will be our 16th week. It'll be our last week until January.
Wow.
I know, right? We'll do it. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope this cool weather just warms your heart.
Now let me ask you something. Will we or will we not go into the other parts on the next section? Or will we go back to this?
Are you interested in part 2?
I am interested.
Okay. I'm willing to do another I'm willing to do an advanced class. You are there, let's see, is there another day that would be good for you if we were to change days for an advanced class? I'm just thinking right now. We're not putting anything in stone right now. Because I had been thinking of adding a Friday morning class. But I haven't put anything in stone.
Yeah,
Friday, and I don't know what.
Sounds good. You just let me know. I mean, if we go back to the beginning, that's fine with me, because it just gives me more and more chances to perfect. And then after that one, I think I would be ready for a second part. Yeah.
I'm definitely willing to explore it. Obviously, it's nothing I've ever done online. I haven't taught it that many times in person, because it is a lot. And so even if we we'll work it out one way or the other.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay.
All right.
All right, well, I
Let
will, just let me know if you need anything. If not, I'll see you next Tuesday.
All right.
Okay,
and bless.
love you, Miss Gwen.
Love you too, Jennifer.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.